Good afternoon, YouTube. What's going on? This is Mark with Waist Deep Wade Fishing, Southwest Florida. How is everybody out there today in the video world? I hope all my fellow wade fishermen and women had a good weekend, and hope they caught tons of fish, and hope everyone slammed out. I do want to thank everyone for subscribing, keeping up the views, commenting, and showing me nothing but love. So again, I'm going to give that right back to you. Love yous all. And today is going to be fishing report number 3. This is for the week of the date 3/10/2020. So we're going to start with beach fishing. So again, all of my sources are local sources, guides, bait shops, online reports, wade fishing forums. So this is nothing that's made up. This is real deal. If you listen to what I say and you go to where I tell you to go, you are going to catch fish. So let's go ahead and start off with beach fishing. If you want to walk the beaches and you want to go to the spot I spoke to you about, the ledge, Big Carlos Pass, the mackerel are going to be biting by the pylons. That's all they're really getting around them. Maybe a couple of sheephead here and there, but the mackerel will be against those pilings. If you're on the beach side, I'd say go for 30 to 60 yard cast. Put you on maybe a silver spoon, quarter ounce, half ounce. Get it out there as far as you can and rip it back in. But the macs are biting. The trout are at the ledge. It is confirmed the best bait for those trout are going to be paddle tails and Rapala X-Wraps, white or the mullet color. Next, we're going to go straight over to Sanibel. I'm not hearing nothing much from the pier. They're catching a couple of sharks from the beach. Not too much in the surf for anything else. On the pier itself, you're getting sheep's head, a few trout here and there. Next, we've got the 41 bridge, the Port Charlotte side, aka Power Pole Park. It's a brand new fishing pier that they made that actually goes underneath 41. Fantastic, great facility. You can even is a spot where you can get underneath that bridge and get in the shade. They are getting redfish and snook on the pier, and that's all they're doing. That they're getting them later in the day, and there's got to be moving water. So if you don't have a moving tide that's coming in or out towards the end of the day, it's going to be iffy. But they are getting redfish and snook there. Excuse me. Now, if you head up to the Bayshore Pier, that's in Port Charlotte. I have a report that they did get 3 cobia over the weekend and a couple of small black tip sharks, if that's your thing. I'm not a shark hunter, but I do enjoy catching some cobia. Moving over towards another famous pier that I used to fish all the time, El Jobin Pier. Snook at night on swim baits, period. Go out there with old bombers, walk the dog, any type of plug that you have, just cast them along the pilings, cast them along. There's actually a little sandbar hump that's out there on the right side of the pier. As you come on to the El Jobin Pier and you walk out towards the end, fish on that right side, not towards the pylons, towards the other. About 20 yards out, there's a hump. And what you can do is you can throw out, let's say a larger X-Wrap in the mullet color, white color, or in the greenback color. Basically throw it out as far as you can. If you don't have too many people on the pier, take that rod and just start walking it down the pier and let that Rapala just run like this against that hump. 9 out of 10 times you'll hook up with a snook out there. Next, the Venice Jetties. I fished there a couple of times, and they are getting boatloads of mackerel tons of mackerel off the rocks at all times of the day. Incoming, outgoing. For some reason, the bait is holding near those rocks, so the mackerel are out there tearing them up. Let's see what we got next here. This is for the boat guys, you know, the guys with the flats boats that are out there. If you go down to the Port Charlotte canals, if you get into that Port Charlotte canal system, they are catching juvenile tarpon, couple of jacks, and some snook. I would fish all around, you know, people's docks. I would be pitching shrimp underneath there. You know, if you're using live bait, if you're using lures, go with a weedless lure, weedless paddle tail, weedless, you know, jerk shad. Pitch them underneath those docks. Work those docks very well, and you might get you might hook up to a really big jack. I've heard of jacks now in that area like 20 to 30 pounds, really big. So let's go over to the west wall. Now the west wall, we are looking pretty good. You got redfish on the inside of the sandbar, and the snook are going to be on the outside of the sandbar. They are hitting shrimp, they are hitting live shrimp, artificials, paddle tails, and topwaters. But the best bait still has been pinfish, and that's been the bait of choice. So if you are using any type of small plugs or twitch baits, try to get them into pinfish colors. Okay, so again, you are getting snook and redfish on that bar. Redfish are more towards the bushes along the west wall, and the snook are on the outside, inside of the trout line, before you get to that sandbar. Next we have Bull Bay. Tons of redfish and snook inside of Bull Bay. If you pull into Bull Bay, just work the area, look for the deeper holes in the area. You know, put your depth sounder on, look where you may have an area that's 1 foot, 2 foot, then it drops to 5 foot. That would be where I would start. Work the whole inside of Bull's Bay. I'm getting reports, tons of redfish and snook. They're hitting paddle tails and plugs against the bushes all times of the day, as long as that water is moving. Moving right along, we're heading down to Gasparilla Sound. We got redfish, snook along the mangroves, trout on the outside. Okay, the outside water 3 to 5 feet deep, and they're hitting artificials. This is just from what I'm told. I have not been over to Gasparilla Sound. I'm not very familiar with the area, but people that are, you know, listening and watching the show probably know what I'm talking about. This is just a report from there. So I got a couple more places left to discuss for the day, and next we move over to the Mount Lachey Bridge. Sheep's Head is the name of the game. They're getting a few snapper that are out there. Snook at night. When you're fishing for the snook at night, make sure you throw flare hawks. And the flare hawk that I've been getting the reports on, the ones that they're hitting the most, is the white and blue. So again, snook at night, Mount Lachey Bridge, preferably on the incoming tide, throwing a blue and white flare hawk. Pine Island Sound, my stomping grounds, reds everywhere. Find a point, throw jigs, spoons, topwater, subsurface, bait. There's huge numbers out there. The snook are there, but I heard they're not chewing as well as they should be. So if they're being finicky, be patient, be consistent, change up your lures, move from spot to spot. Again, points, sandbars, oyster bars, mangrove lines. Anywhere in the sound, as long as you've got water over a foot deep, give it a shot. Burnt Store Marina, the east wall. My wade fishing grounds. Snook between the land and the sandbar. That's all I got. I don't know where. It's a 4-mile stretch that you can actually walk. So all I got is the snook are in between the land and the sandbar, and they're hanging in the trough line. Now, the reds I'm hearing when the tide is coming in, they are between 2 and 5 feet of water. They're hitting myrmidines in the pure pinfish color, paddle tails in white and in black, and root beer, and there's a few pompano that are being caught on the sandbar. And my last, actually not client, but the last person I spoke with, and that was yesterday, and he just did a charter. He said he worked the oyster bars, and all he did was use nothing but Aqua Dream gold spoons, and he was throwing them against the oyster bars. He wasn't even putting Procure on them. He was just throwing plain gold spoons against the oyster bars, and they knocked out 25 redfish. So it's looking real good over there. BOKEELIA again, redfish, snook on fire. The grass flats and the potholes are just slap full with them. Again, jigs, spoons, top water. Make sure that water's coming in. Look for at least 2 to 5 feet of water on the incoming tide. Again, my name is Mark. This is Waist Deep Wade Fishing, Southwest Florida. I wish everyone out there the best of luck during this weekend on the weekend. One love to everybody. I'll see you soon. Go out there and get yourself a yellowmouth. You guys have a great one. All right. Bye-bye.